I ran to the hospital to see my husband in intensive care. The call came at 2:37 a.m. A car crash, multiple fractures. My husband was in the ICU. The nurse's voice was calm but rehearsed. Too calm, too clean. As if she'd said those words before. As if she knew something I didn't. I remember the sterile brightness of the hospital hallway, the hum of fluorescent lights, the antiseptic sting in the air. My heart should have been racing, but it wasn't. It just tightened, like a fist closing around something small and alive. When I reached the ICU doors, a nurse intercepted me. She looked at me once, sharply, then leaned close. "Hide. Now. Trust me." Her whisper cut through the white noise. Before I could ask, she pushed me into an adjacent room and closed the door quietly behind me. Through the thin crack, I saw her walk back to the corridor, her movements deliberate, timed. And then the other woman arrived. Tall, black coat, perfume like expensive guilt. She didn't ask for directions. She knew where she was going, straight to my husband's bed. Her voice broke the quiet. "Oh, my love, what did you do?" My pulse stopped. Her hand brushed his hair with the kind of intimacy that doesn't belong to visitors. And then he, bandaged, pale, half-conscious, whispered her name. Not mine, her name. That was the moment my world tilted. Not exploded, tilted. Quietly, elegantly, like a painting slightly askew that you can never straighten again. I watched her lean closer. "I told you not to call her," she said softly. "If she finds out, everything falls apart." His reply came in a rasp. She won't. I deleted everything." I stopped breathing. The nurse had been right. I stepped back from the door. Slowly, mechanically. The kind of stillness that comes when something in you dies and refuses to rot. For 3 nights I said nothing. I came to the hospital, sat by his bed, held his hand, listened to the beeping machines echoing his pulse, steady, deceitful. He called me angel. He said I saved his life. But I saw her perfume on his pillow, and I smiled. Because silence is not surrender. Silence is strategy. I started collecting the pieces. Her name, her visits, the times he slept when his phone was off. The nurse who had warned me, her name was Clara. I found her again. She looked torn between fear and pity. "I shouldn't have told you," she said, "but she's been here before, many times, not as a friend." Her words confirmed what my heart already knew. Still, I needed proof. Not for justice. Justice doesn't exist in these quiet wars. But for clarity. I accessed his cloud backups. I found the photos. Her face reflected in his sunglasses. The hotel receipts. Messages that began with, "Can't wait to see you again, baby," and ended with, "Delete this." He hadn't deleted anything. He only thought he had. A man never hides well from a woman who's stopped loving him. A week later, the doctor said he would recover. I nodded, smiled, kissed his forehead like a wife should. That night, I called the other woman. She didn't recognize my voice, so I used his tone, the one he used when he lied. I told her to come to the hospital at dawn, that it was urgent, that we needed to talk before anyone else found out. She came. Clara saw her first and gave me a look that asked, "Are you sure?" I was. I waited by his bedside. The room smelled like antiseptic and betrayal. When the door opened, he smiled weakly, until he saw her. And then he saw me. The silence that followed was surgical. I watched his throat move, searching for words that no longer existed. She turned to me, confused. "You said—" I cut her off with a look. I said nothing. He did. The color drained from both of them. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't cry. I simply reached into my bag and pulled out the folder I'd prepared. Messages, photos, dates, transfers, all printed, all neatly arranged. I placed it on the bed, between them. Neither reached for it at first. He finally did, with shaking hands. "This isn't," he started. "It is," I said, quietly. Silence expanded, dense and suffocating. Then, like a spark catching in dry grass, realization spread through them, slow, consuming. "You moved the money," my father said. "Yes." He stared at me, disbelief unraveling into something darker. "You don't understand what you're doing." "I understand exactly," I said. "I'm ending the tradition." "What tradition?" my mother whispered. "The one where I pay for your choices. No shouting, no chaos, just quiet collapse." My brother's face reddened. "You're ruining everything! We're family!" "No," I said. "We were transactions disguised as family." His chair scraped back violently, but my father's hand stopped him. "Sit down," he hissed. They turned to me then, united again, but not in love, in desperation. The same alliance that built the betrayal now begged for survival. I almost felt sorry for them. Almost. "You think this gives you power?" my father asked. "Cutting yourself off?" "No," I said softly. "It gives me silence." When I stood, none of them moved. My mother's eyes glistened, not with remorse, but fear. The fear of a system without its foundation. I placed a folder on the table, documents transferring their remaining assets into accounts only they could access. I had taken nothing, not a cent. "You keep it," I said. "All of it. Every debt, every lie, every bond you forged through guilt." My father looked confused. "Why?" "Because I want you to understand what I was worth to you," I said, "and what you're worth without me." I walked to the door. My brother's voice cracked behind me. "You can't just walk away?" I paused. "Watch me." I didn't turn around. The air outside was colder than before, but it tasted clean. For the first time, I felt something like peace, but not softness. Peace can be sharp when it's earned through disillusionment. As I walked toward my car, I thought of the girl I had been, the obedient daughter, the safety net, the silent fixer. She had died outside that door weeks ago, replaced by someone who had finally learned the language of refusal. I didn't hate them. I didn't love them. I just understood them. And understanding is the cruelest revenge of all. I drove into the dark, leaving their lights behind me. They would turn on each other now. They always do when the supply ends. For years, they had taught me that family meant sacrifice. They never realized I learned how to make one.